So, you want to learn how to conduct an interview. Whether or not you just do this as a hobby or you're looking to become a videographer, knowing how to conduct a good interview is important. Think about how often you see interviews on the red carpet or on the news. Today, I'm going to be showing you a crash course in conducting and recording a one-on-one sit-down interview and give you some tips to bring your video to the next level. So, your subject said yes. Now what? Let's talk equipment. A well-lit, quiet filming location, preferably related somehow to your subject, a camera, headphones if your camera has a headphone jack, a tripod, a pair of Rode mics, spare camera batteries, preferably charged ones, a place for you and your subject to sit. We'll get more into why later. So now you have things and a person. What else could you possibly need? Oh, right, an interview. Don't be fooled. Writing questions is actually a little difficult. Good or bad questions can make or break the effectiveness of your video. No pressure. To put it simply, raw interviews are inherently awkward. Your job is to make it not awkward, make them look good, and ask questions that tell a story. Sound bites are answers or parts of answers that pack a good cinematic punch and can help move your story forward when placed correctly. These can be tricky to get. First off, don't ask yes or no questions like, do you like the current mayor? Because if they say yes, now what? Now it's awkward. You made it awkward, you failed. Instead, ask questions that require the subject to elaborate. Get a little personal. And you don't have to follow your scripted questions the entire time. Really listen to your subject and what they're saying. Sometimes those special unscripted moments are where you're gonna find your sound bites. The hard part is over. You need somewhere for you and your subject to sit across from each other so that no one wriggles around and messes up your shot. Don't worry, a tripod between your chairs facing the subject is ideal. Here's some advice: no rolling or spinny chairs. I think that's self-explanatory. Your camera should be positioned so that your subject takes up a third of the screen with a little space at the top of their head. They should be looking at you, not at the camera. Don't forget, in the other 2/3 of the screen, the background is visible. Make sure it's related to your subject. If you're interviewing a student, have lockers or desks in the background. A doctor, a hospital setting with equipment. You get the gist. No flat walls. It's go time. Your subject's here, mic'd, and ready to go. But if they're a human being, they're probably a little bit nervous. This seems kind of mean, but just tell them that it's a practice run. It makes them way less nervous. It's not lying, it's psychology. Once the camera's rolling, ask your subject their name and how to spell it. Once they're done, listen back to that clip. 1, now you'll be able to spell their name when you're making your lower thirds later when you're editing. And 2, you can check your audio on the go and make sure that there's no last-minute problems before the interview actually starts. Use a transcription software like Otter.ai to make a script of your raw footage. This way you can move sound bites around in the text to write your story, and thus your interview. Scripting and transcribing are super important. When you splice up interviews and sound bites, it creates jump cuts. We don't always like to keep those in the middle of an answer. The solution? Cover it with B-roll related to your subject. Now you can't even tell the interview is edited. Make sure your audio is balanced and your music doesn't distract from the interviews. I don't care if it's a banger. Which leads me to my last tip. Kill your darlings. There might be a soundbite that you really love that just doesn't fit in with the interview, or a clip, or an edit. If it doesn't add anything to your video, or it makes it unnecessarily long, you should just cut it. It's a hard thing to do, but it's important for streamlining your video. And that, my friends, is how you conduct an interview. I hope you learned something here today. If you didn't, I hope you find a career that's a little bit easier for you. Thanks for watching too now, I guess. Happy filming! I leave you now in a feat of editing magic.